Blaster Zombie here. We're gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna actually go over the build with you. Let's move on pretty quickly here. Hull is a 73k, but you got to keep in mind that I had the 20% weekly combat bonus to it, so it's gonna, I believe it's 20%. Could be wrong, but it's gonna boost my hull up a little bit more. So if you see this and you're like, my hull's not reaching that, that's probably why. And it's a good thing to get your fleet to slot that weekly, because it also gives you a plus 20% cat 1 damage boost. I'm not sure if that's just towards energy or torpedo. I don't know. I have to look it up. But anyways, resist. I like to keep my resist above 30, but anything over like 40 is kind of getting to the point of overkill. You're going to sacrifice DPS at that point by slotting in other consoles possibly. So 30, 35, pretty good. Anything lower than that, you're going to get squished on pretty hard, especially if you're somebody who likes to sit and park and just shoot, because your defense rating is going to just be dropped down and it's just going to pound the hell out of you. Alright, accuracy and STFs don't really matter. But my critical chance, I like to keep it around 30. I know I'm a Fed, it's kind of hard to do. And then my crit severity, just boost it up as much as you possibly can. All these other stats here, they're whatevs, nothing too big, nothing too crazy about them. I will go through them. Alright. Now, this is obviously a Canon build, so I wanted to have blue phasers with the torp in the front and the torp in the back. Let's look at them real quick. And the same repeats down at the bottom. This deflector here is from the new fleet colony holding. A lot of people don't have it, won't have it for a long time, but there are fleets out there that will invite you in so you could buy them. You're just going to make sure your current fleet has the provisions, enough provisions for you to buy this. And it's pretty cheap. I believe it's 12,000 dill and then around like 12 or 14,000 fleet marks, so it's really cheap and it's amazing with the critical chance and critical severity. I use the Nucara 2 piece here for this little guy right here, this 5% bonus damage. Anytime something that says bonus, it usually means it's Cat 2, which is going to give you a lot more damage overall. I use the Elite Plasma Integrated Warp Core and stuff with EPS. Mainly, you want to kind of stick with EPS if you can, because basically what that's going to do is as you're firing your energy weapons, you're going to see this drop down. What that dictates is basically how fast that's going to come back up. The quicker it comes up, the more DPS you're going to have. Simple as that. The red matter capacitor is not necessary to the build. It's just on here because I don't like empty slots and it looks cool. The subspace field modulator is a nice resist in like an oh crap situation when you see your hull starting to get below 50%. You don't have much and you want to, you know, you're getting close to the end of the run anyway, so that's a nice clicky. I believe it's from a mission. I'm not sure right offhand, but yeah. Batteries. Definitely want to run batteries. If you're not running batteries, you're doing something wrong. Now we're going to move on to these four consoles right here, and then I'm going to show you other variants you could use if you cannot afford these. These two are from the Lobby store. They're quite expensive. I believe they're 200 Lobby a piece, and they're quite expensive to upgrade. If you can't afford these, I would use one of these four. We'll go over those in here in a few minutes. The Point Defense Bombardment Warhead, I believe, is from the T6NX. The Dynamic Power Redistributor module is from the Prototype Dreadnought. Both these are pretty expensive ships. I believe this is a Lobby ship, and this one is a Lockbox ship. Again, I'm going to show you some other variants over here. Assimilated module. This one's pretty basic. You can get it from the rep store. Critical chance, critical severity. Simple as that. The heavy assault platform, it's nice. It comes with the ship. It's a universal, so it's going to give you plus 15% mine, torpedo, and phaser damage. And it's got a pretty cool little clicky. It drops a phaser platform that just shoots things with phasers and eventually blows up. And your standard locators here for crit chance. Alright, we're going to move over to these consoles over here. If you can't afford them, I'm going to show you some cheaper variants that you could use. Alright, I'm placing these two above these two right here because this is a sister variant. All four of these make a 4-piece and stuff, but these ones come off ships. These ones you could buy off the exchange for roughly anywhere from 3 to 4 mil. So they're not bad. The clickies on them and the abilities on them are kind of not that big of a deal, but more details. You gotta put these on. Forgot about that. To show you the 2-piece bonus. So anyways, it's 33% phaser damage, disruptor and plasma, etc., etc. That's a nice one. And then the other version is you can also get these off the exchange for, I believe, around 3 to 4 million as well. Let's go ahead and equip them. Again, the consoles themselves are not too bad, nothing too crazy either and stuff. So, but it's more about the 2-piece, 25 for photon, and then 25% for phaser damage. Nice. So that's that. Let's go ahead and switch that back over to my original, because I'll forget later. And this is my basic skill tree. I've been using this for probably 4 or 5 months straight and not having much problem with it. I know other people do little different variants here and there, but this is what I use. I normally use temporal, but recently I've been playing around with Intel a lot more for the flanking bonus damage. I'm not sure. You're going to survive better with temporal. This is for more of an RNG thing, so that's that. And then just strategist. Always strategist, in my opinion. Alright, now traits. These are free traits. Most of everything in here is free or pretty cheap on the exchange. Let's kind of go through them so I can show you. Alright, now starship traits. Emergency weapon cycle. This right here is pretty much kind of a meta setup in a weird, well, not meta. This is what I can afford and what I have, and I do pretty well with it. So, emergency weapon cycle for haste. Supremacy for power. And this one, Cold Hearted, is off the new Breen ship. It's doing pretty good for debuffing. A lot of people make fun of me for using improved pedal to the metal, but it's free, and it does pretty good in my opinion. And then Invincible. For critical chance and critical severity, these two. I know that I'm using Ox to Bat right now, but this helps out with that little bit of a cooldown issue that I have at the beginning in certain parts. It gets things moving a lot quicker. If you're running torpedoes, you're going to want to use this. It's absolutely wonderful. Oden Knight will tell you that himself. And this guy here is just for the debuff. I know a lot of people try to sit there and say that why don't you just use the straight 5%. I seem to see bigger numbers when it finally hits, when it gets down below the 50% belt. And these standard guys here. This is, shield heal bubble. This guy right here is going to boost this and this with EPG. And then the deploy sensor platform. This is just to keep threat off of you. But I noticed that since season 13, it doesn't reach out as far as it used to. I could be totally imagining it. I don't know. And my stations. These are 3 SROs right here. 1, 2, 3, which is going to boost my crit chance and severity. This is a Nausicaan, so it's going to give me the piracy, which is an extra 2% damage. And then this guy right here is also from a mission. He's a science officer, but he also has piracy, which gives 2% more damage. Now for my DOFs, I've been stacking these 3 because I like to see torpedoes fire out quicker. Simple as that, especially how weak these torpedoes are on this build. And they get a 6% cooldown, so they pop out pretty good with these 3. And then the technicians here for the Ox to Bat cooldown. Alrighty, that's it. Thanks for watching.